And it should pop up in a second on the YouTube channel.
Oh, it might be on another YouTube link somewhere.
I sent you the second link.
Oh, okay.
I sent you the right one. It's there's always a bit of a delay though.
And let's see.
And it's loading, and we're live. Ozzy, how's it going, everybody?
Woof.
How are you?
I don't see the YouTube. Oh, wait, I think I was going to the wrong. Here we go.
Who's the mask?
Woof, woof. You have to figure out who I am.
Secret identity.
That's right. I have to guard it carefully. I don't want my loved ones to be hurt if I'm discovered.
For those of you that don't know, this is the Omnibus dog. He is a very, very popular member on the Facebook community that we partake in. He's extremely popular. He was actually one of the most requested guests when me and Riley first started doing this about 2 weeks ago. Him and Will from Nerd Ventures are two of the most requested ones, and Jess was kind enough to join us today. How are you, Jess?
Yay, I'm great. Thank you for inviting me.
Man, it is a pleasure to have you, man. Omni Dog lives. It's a pleasure, man. It's honestly a pleasure. We're happy to have you here. We've been wanting to get more people on as well, because me and Riley started this a few weeks ago. But yeah, it's great to have you. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. Doing good.
I'm pretty excited to be on the air with two of the guys that influenced my wallet spending the most. I've started following both of you early 2015, maybe even earlier than that. And to be on the air with you is really fun. To think that that I would one day share the screen with you, the dream come true.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Well, first off, we're just going to get started right into it. What got you started into collecting in the first place? Because I see you've got a lot of cool stuff in the background there. You got a lot of badass statues and things back there.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
You know, he's got badass stuff too. I think you're either born a collector or you're not. Because collectors of anything connect to each other in a way that others don't. Whatever you collect, and I think I was just born a collector, and I gravitated towards comic books when I was 6. As you can tell by my beard and my hair, that was 50 long years ago. And I've just been collecting them ever since, and I've collected a number of other things off and on, but I just got the bug early and often to collect, and I knew enough even when I was little to take care of my comic books and put them in a safe place, and I never let my mother throw them out. That is the key. Don't let your mom get close to any of your stuff. Mothers are great, but they throw out your shit way too often.
So true. Especially, I would imagine back then it was kind of like, the comic books, they'll be useless and they'll be worthless. And then the 80s hit around and people started going, oh shit, like some of this Silver Age and Golden Age stuff is actually worth some cash.
Yeah, there was when I was a little kid, and when I was a little kid it was in the 60s, there was a Superman annual that came out with Superman. I have it somewhere. He's holding a couple of books in his hands, and on the cover it has Superman word ballooning, and one of these issues is now worth up to $30. And it was something crazy like action number 3 or something. And now I look back at that and I go, well, now it's worth $500,000, pal. So, yeah, nobody really gave that much thought, I guess, to ephemera like that back then.
I think it's the mindset. It's just changed as years and years went on, as like a lot of comic collectors started growing up and things like that.
Well, I think baby boomers in general have helped fuel the passion for nostalgia and things like that, and have passed it on to their children. And so collecting runs in 50-year cycles, I think, and that's why Golden Age now is not as popular Silver Age and Bronze Age are popular, and eventually, they'll die out too. And so collectibles from the 30s just aren't as hot as maybe from the 70s now.
I totally agree with that. I think also that the movies probably have a large influence on that.
Oh, yeah. I think that's been the greatest thing ever is that they finally, CGI finally caught up to make everything believable. And it's incredible how many people I think have been brought in by the movies. It certainly seems to me, when I go to my favorite comic book store in Annapolis, Maryland, I'll give them a plug, Third Eye Comics, the store is always packed. And it's packed not only because they have great inventory, but because they give great service. And so I think you're exactly right. Movies have a huge impact on keeping comic books alive.
And what's interesting, at least from what I've seen, and I think maybe Riley can agree with me, is that it seems that the best movies are pulling from a bit of the modern age stuff, but a lot of also from the Silver Age and the classic stuff, like those classic storylines.
I agree. I think you do see a little bit of, like you said, from the modern age, and like in something like Jessica Jones, obviously that's going to have stuff from the modern age, and then it looks like the Luke Cage series is probably going to take from modern age stuff. But a lot of those books that are being reprinted now in these collected editions, you see, like, the reason why is because those movies are drawing directly from them. So you'll see those storylines not being adapted directly, of course, but just adopting little pieces and bits and stuff from these classic storylines. And it's really cool because that makes me want to read. Like, if I watch a movie and I'm like, damn, that was cool, I'm going to want to see where it came from. And it's really awesome.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that I will say, even though it's not necessarily comic book related, is I love all the 3 recent Star Trek movies, the shout outs they do to earlier Star Trek episodes and movies and references, how they do all these sort of shout outs that if you knew what was going on in the past, would you understand it? And so, even though that doesn't have to do with comic books, that's what I like about those new Star Trek movies.
I still haven't seen the latest one. I saw the last 2, and I enjoyed them. And I agree, they have a lot of like little references and things like that. I also agree that I think there's a certain mindset that a collector has, even from a young age. You can kind of tell when they're going to get older, and then they have expendable money and things like that. Like when I was a kid, the first thing I started collecting, I remember, was Transformers. I was obsessed with Transformers as a kid. I collect the entire Gen 1 series, and then my mom threw them out. Yeah. I don't regret it. I regret it so much. I'm talking about I had the original Optimus Prime, original Starscream, everything. And I picked up most of them at a local flea market, and they were selling them for cheap, for like 25 cents. In box and everything. Now, that stuff sells for crazy, and it got all thrown out. I was so mad. And then I moved on to Pokemon cards, which was the trend, back when kids were kids. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! And now eventually comics. Comics stuck with me, and that's just the lifelong thing.
Yeah, I think that collectors, to the non-collector, collectors can just not necessarily oddballs, but we're a little just slightly off center, because we love to collect stuff that makes us happy. And you can look at someone, let's say like my wife, who collects nothing except for chores for me to do. That's her thing to collect. So, and I know there are female collectors out there, so it's not a female thing, but they just don't get it. And she's like, why? I don't understand. How come you need 5 different Wolverine pops? Isn't one pop enough? I'm like, what language are you speaking to me, sweetie? What do you mean? Is it enough? No, the world is not enough. So I think collectors of anything click on a different level than other people.
I agree. I mean, I've gotten definitely the same reactions where like I'd buy like, for example, I just bought the variant cover for the Doctor Strange Omnibus, and I've actually been talking to my friends and like, why would you pay $10 extra for like a different cover? I was like, I just like the cover art more. And they're like, you're paying $10 more. I'm like, yeah, why not?
It's the cool cover.
Thank you. Did you get one? Did you order it by any chance?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love Alex Ross. Don't get me wrong. That is also a cool cover. But you got to go with that Silver Age really cool cover that says Strange Tales on it.
Oh, absolutely. How could you not go with Steve Ditko?
Yeah.
I'm the odd duck here.
Oh.
I got the Alex Ross, but
That's a cool cover, though. That is a really cool cover.
It is a really, really cool cover, but I've said before, like the main reason I'll go for the main one, outside of saving a few bucks, is because I know there's other people like you guys that the cover matters more to them, and I'd rather someone else have it than me just be like, I'm going to get that one because I'm going to get it, you know? So it just, I guess it's a little more satisfying for me to know that someone else is going to get something a little bit more out of it, I guess.
Well, I think damn decent of you.
I think there's also, that there's definitely the reseller market out there. And I'm not one that'll resell just because of a cover or buy it just because I know it's going to be a valued possession later on in the future. But that thing flew off the shelves within 24 hours. It was gone. And now cheap graphic novels is selling it for close to like 80 last time I checked or something like that.
And
so it's already going above cover.
Doesn't it make it even more appealing when it says limit one per customer?
Yeah, it kind of does.
It makes you go, oh, wait a second. Oh, they're limiting that? Bitching, I'm taking it.
Well, Riley should know about that considering he just bought the New Mutants.
I was about to bring that up.
I can't wait to see that thing.
Yeah, I mentioned, I think, in our group chat, Jess, with all of our admins for the group, that like I was gonna have to figure out some way to pay for that book, and so I called my wife while I was at work today, and I was like, hey, so a pre-order went through, and I didn't realize it was gonna go through, and it's going over my budget, but there's another, like, basically I was like finagled it to where a set that's coming out next month I'm gonna let her have and hold until Christmas and give it to me as a Christmas gift, and I'm using those funds to purchase this book because I knew I wanted to open that right away because I want to make a video about it. So
wow,
that's how we make the dream.
The mouse went through the maze for that cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you had to jump through so many hoops to get that book. I hope it was worth it, honestly.
It looks freaking great. And you know, I think I had the right timing and when I called her because she was just texting me like, hey, I need you to tell me yes or no. Someone has tickets for ACL, the Austin City Limits Festival, and I want to know if I should go for them. And I was like, yeah, you go and spend that money and then let me tell you about what I did.
Oh man, so you kind of shoehorned it in. You're like, you worked your way in there.
It worked out. It worked out good. She was just like, yeah, I guess that works.
Nice. Very nice.
Hold on one second. Let me make sure that the link to this has been posted on the Facebook group. This is great. I cannot wait for you to do a video on it because I have no clue what the New Mutants are, or I've never even read anything about them.
They're a fantastic team. I'm in love with that team just because, you know, it was when the X-Men started, they were all teenagers, you know, so this is kind of the same idea. It's another group of teenagers that have these mutant abilities, but it's written by Claremont in the 80s, so it has that Bronze Age mentality behind it. And it was a really good book to start with, but once Sienkiewicz came on, as the artist, it just went beyond because like they had such a great synergy between the art and the writing on that book at that time. And the stories just had such gravity behind them with the different characters, especially Danny Moonstar in there. and then he introduced Legion as well, and those are just a couple. The Demon Bear arc and the Legion introduction arc are a couple of the best X-Men stories, in my opinion, ever. And this book collects both of those stories in like pretty much absolute edition sized. So I'm over the moon excited about this.
Are those in the New Mutant Classics books?
Yeah, they are. They are in, I believe, volumes 3 and 4.
Well, I have them within reach if you want me to grab them and show people what you're talking about.
Please do.
Yeah,
I think they're right behind me.
Yo, go ahead, man. Don't worry.
I have them right beyond reach, so I'm gonna be the
Well, I'll have to move my head and be really unprofessional. Just to
no worries.
So is that run hard to come by these days? In any
The
format?
classic one,
Yeah.
it has been pretty difficult to come by. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna get a little easier to find, based on the fact that they're publishing Epic collections soon.
Oh, cool. There they are.
These two.
And you can see his artwork on the cover is just phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
It goes 18 through 34, an annual
So
number
his
one.
run is, I think, 19 through 31
Okay.
or something like that.
You
So
want-
most of those.
Do you want me to do any photo baiting here?
Oh, absolutely.
Because Jess is the king of the bait.
That's right.
Oh, wow. The art does look good. Man, I bet that looks really good in a beautiful oversized format.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. And it looks like they have a couple of lithographs in there as well.
Now, Riley, why don't you share how much the book was with the fans?
Yeah.
I dropped $99 on it.
Oh, but you,
99
you got the standard one. Now there's the ultra
Yeah.
super limited edition. How much does that run for?
There's one of them that goes for like 500,
Mm.
and there's even more expensive versions beyond that. I think they come with like special, legitimate sketches that Sienkiewicz did for each specific book.
Wait, there's one above the $500 mark?
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, one of the other members in our group, Brooks, ordered the $500 one, and I remember when he first discovered that the $500 one existed, he also showed us all the different editions, and there was like, I think 2 that were more expensive, and they went to astronomical prices that I was like, I don't think so.
You don't want to put up a second mortgage?
Yeah, really.
No.
Well, this makes me want to read these New Mutants even more. This is one of those, I'm definitely guilty of, I got to get it, and then I'm going to read it. And I haven't read these yet. I've had them in my hands for at least a year, so I'll make sure I try and read them much sooner.
Well worth it. I think you'll get a kick out of them, I think.
Speaking of reading, Jess, what have you been reading, man?
Well, thank you for asking. As people on the page, the Omnibus collector page, know, not everybody knows. I like to think that everybody knows everything about me, but it's not quite true. I had both my knees replaced this summer, so this summer I've been very quiet, not able to move around a lot. So I have actually been reading a lot of books, and I just I'll show you the ones real quickly that I loved the most. I've read probably 75 to 80 books this summer.
Oh my gosh.
So I narrowed them down to my favorite ones, which I'll just briefly show you. One of them just came out, and I can see why everybody's so excited about it. It's this Rebirth Lois and Clark. And I can see why everybody's excited about Rebirth now. This was a fantastic, this is called Road to Rebirth, Lois and Clark. But what a great concept and what a great book. And quite frankly, I don't want to say it, but I'm not the biggest Dan Jurgens fan out there, but I am now. This book is, I think, the best thing he's ever done. It's amazing. Really? I was just blown away how good Rebirth. I can see why people are excited about it. Mm-hmm. And then the other book, of course, Matthew on our page, Sibley, is always recommending the Omega Men. This was some read.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great. The whole, people talk about world building, and this thing built a universe, and an entire universe, and down to the people and the concepts on the planet, and what the White Lantern has to go through. And I just was blown away by how good it was. For something light and airy that I think is great, Deadpool minibus. It's number 2. Now, the first one, I appear to be the only one on the Omnibus page that likes that book. But this book, I think everybody will appreciate because it is hilarious, and it is historical, and it is funny as heck. And I can see why people didn't dig minibus number 1, but this thing just messes with your head the whole time and is really good. And sorry?
Sorry. Is that the one that it has like where he kills like the universe and stuff like that?
Of course, I read it 2 seconds ago and I've already forgotten. He goes back and
the first one was the Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, that's where he killed the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, that's in the first minibus.
The second one, he does go back into time and tries to mess with the timeline. And he ends up going up versus X-Force. And then it's with Cable in it. And then it's got a really funny end panel with this pseudo Liefeld drawn Cable and Deadpool. And it's really pretty funny. But I really enjoyed that. And let's see, I'll do 2 real quick here. I don't want to take up too much time. But I loved Darth Vader Star Wars. This was, I think, top-notch writing and art. Because it takes place right after the Death Star's blown up, and he has to explain himself, and he is not in a position of power dealing with, because the Death Star's been blown up, and that was his baby, and now he has to answer to the Emperor, and it's what he goes through to deal with it. And we get introduced to some very interesting evil people and mechanisms that I thought were really well thought out.
I love that whole concept. I adored it.
The fact that there were, I don't want to give anything away, but the fact that there was just so much sort of nonchalant evil going around that they just were, oh yeah, it's Darth Vader, yeah, let's buddy up with him to continue trying to conquer the universe. And you're like, and they were evil. They weren't overtly evil. They had really well developed character that you you couldn't necessarily sympathize with them, but you understood where they came from, and you saw why they wanted to pal up with Darth Vader. Some of them it was their programming, but the humans, you saw what they the appeal of the dark side was. Mm-hmm. And then my other favorite thing, I know Riley loves this too, is Eltingville Club.
Yay!
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of Eltingville Club?
No, I don't know.
Oh, Luis, you'd love it. It's all of us. It's like all of us at 15. The Eltingville Club, comic book, science fiction, fantasy, horror, role-playing game club.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, it's Evan Dorkin at his finest, and he is such a great artist, but he's also so funny. These guys, it's just these 4 kids. I'm guessing they're 15 or 16, and they go through every possible collecting mania that there is, and it's part of their club. Opening bread, loaves of bread at the grocery store, tearing through 30 packages of them to get these special cards.
Oh yeah.
They're going to all kinds of zombie marathons. I mean, it's just, and they're always arguing and bitching and fighting with each other. And it is
the most horrible representation of like,
I have to read this.
Scummy collectors that can exist.
Oh, I know.
Oh
And it's so great because like,
so I'm thinking comic book guy from The
Like
Simpsons.
that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Comic book guy. Worst comic ever.
I'm thinking honestly, comic book guy from The Simpsons, but like cranked up to like 11.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it was.
sounds amazing.
I got turned on to it because there was an Adult Swim. Maybe it wasn't produced for Adult Swim, but there was a pilot episode for a cartoon, and it got aired on Adult Swim. And I watched that back when they first put it on there, and I was just enamored by it because I was like, "This is so funny!" Like, and I was young. I was a lot younger than when it came on, and I related to it so much because it's these kids, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I know people like that, and I've been like that too sometimes. All of us have been like
Guilty.
that super like shitty nerd that like you push the kid out of the way to get the toy that you like. Everyone's done that at least once.
I'm kind of picturing Riley just shoving a little kid into like the $1 bin to try and grab like a super rare New Mutants book or something.
I have a story. And this is not from me as a kid. This is me as an adult. It wasn't towards a kid, so it wasn't as bad. But one time, literally just so someone else couldn't have something, and I'm ashamed of it, but it's super funny. I was at the Disney store in an outlet mall, and they had some of the Star Wars black figures, and they had the Han Solo figure there, and it was the only one there. And I was looking at it, and there was another guy, and he was looking at it, and he was talking to someone else about like, oh, hey, they got the Han Solo. So I grabbed it and I bought it right then, despite that guy. But the worst part is
You didn't even know the guy.
I went
Fuck you,
back
as you run up to the register.
The worst part is I went back an hour later and returned the figure.
Dude, really? Oh,
So that's
my
the worst thing
God.
I've ever done, I think, as a geek. But it was just the guy was such like I was like, I don't want that guy to have this. He's such a fucking nerd. I don't want him to have this shit.
That makes my story pale in comparison. I was going to tell a story, but I don't know. I think that might be much better.
Holy shit, that is terrible. You just wanted to do it out of principle.
Yeah. It's like, no, fuck you. You're not getting that.
I don't have any stories that are that bad, man.
I outbid a 10-year-old kid once on a. That's how I got my Bendis Daredevil 1 omnibus. It was up at a show for a bidding war, and at the time, I just liked Daredevil, and I just thought, okay, I'll bid on this thing, and I got into a bidding war with this 10-year-old kid. I said, I'm not letting some 10-year-old kid outbid me for this book. I'm 50 fucking years old. Who's this kid think he is? He's washing cars. So he had a price range, and I went through it, and by God, I spent that $45 properly that day. I outbid him by $5 and got the book.
Oh man, I think the worst thing I've probably done is that the Parker Martini edition. A few years back, a beautiful collection.
Yeah.
A few years back, this kid, he was looking through and he found it, and he was holding it, and he found it for like, I think it was something ridiculous. It was like 75% off at this local con.
Mm.
He put it down for a split second. I yanked it, and I ran to the guy. I gave him the cash, and I just kept walking.
We are all evil people.
It was basically a snatch and run. And I felt kind of bad for a split second. And then I went to Darwin Cook and got it signed, and I didn't feel bad at all.
Oh, he was at the con?
He was at the con. And now the book is massively out of print.
Yeah.
Because he just died.
Yeah.
God, we're all horrible people, apparently.
It's the Eltingville Omnibus Collectors community.
Oh man! And Luis, you got to read that book. Like it's not expensive at all. I think it's like $12 or something on InStock. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like $12 on InStock. Yeah.
Is it? I'm gonna have to pick it up. Honestly, that sounds right up my alley.
It's just funny. It is so funny.
Oh my goodness! All right, Riley,
So
what have
you guys been reading?
So I've been reading. I mentioned the past couple weeks I was catching up on One Piece, and I finally did that. I finally finished. So I'm reading weekly now, which is really fun, and it was a great great feeling to finally get caught up again after 5 years of being behind. And it's just as good as it's always been to me. So excited about that. But then I'm also reading this series, My Hero Academia, another manga series. I'm on a manga kick right now, as y'all probably have noticed. I watched that anime. It's 13 episodes. I watched it on Hulu last week on my day off, and I just was enamored by it. And so I decided I needed to buy the manga, and I ordered all 5 of the volumes, and I'm on volume 2 right now. It's really good. It's basically superheroes done in the style of, you know, Japanese comics, but it retains a lot of that Western sensibility in that it's not so simplistic with just like, you know, you look at like Dragon Ball Z, you know, I love the series, but it's very simple. You know, it's just fighting, and very little plot per chapter. But My Hero Academia has a pretty decent amount of plot in every chapter that you get, so you feel like, you know, fulfilled with what you've read, and it has that same feeling as when I'm reading a good, you know, floppy, a good single issue of a series. You get a good amount of action and plot in every issue, so you feel, you know, fulfilled. That's an issue I think a lot of manga have, is that they don't really fulfill you per chapter. They more fulfill you per like 2-month period. So I'm really loving it right now. I think it's a really fun little series, and if you like superheroes and you like manga, it's a great series to try out. And Derek Green saying stuff about Dragon Ball. I'm not saying Dragon Ball is bad at all. I love Dragon Ball. I love it. It's just usually pretty light on plot and heavier on just the action. But that's what we loved when we were kids, right? So
you don't read Dragon Ball or watch Dragon Ball Z for the plot. Like, if you, I'm sorry, if you like, I'm watching Super, and if you're watching it for the plot, which admittingly is actually pretty good, then you're doing it wrong.
I don't watch it at all, so I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. I'm sure you have somebody chatting right now about what an ignoramus I am. I don't know a thing about Dragon Ball Z. It dominates the Omnibus subgroup pop collector page. Lots of people are Dragon Ball Z figure collectors.
oh yeah, because they have so many figures out there, and there's the cheap ones, the expensive ones, the nice ones. Like, there's a lot of great ones out there.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had more money to dedicate to that instead of putting into books, I'd probably buy some of those figures, because I do really love Dragon Ball Z.
Oh man, all respect to those guys like Jess who buy statues and stuff, because I don't know how you guys do it. Because some of those statues, I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, that Hellboy statue looks so badass. And then I look at the price. Holy shit, $500. No, I'm good.
That's out of my league. I don't go up. There are those guys on our page, but I don't. I mean, I have a couple of Sideshow collectible statues, but I'm mostly. Actually, I've got 5 Sideshow collectible statues, but they are way lower than that. And the other statues I collect, I don't know if you can see the bombshells. Let me see.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, I love the bombshell collection from that DC did. Those are the primary kind of statues that I like to collect.
And those run like somewhere less than $100 or something.
Yeah, exactly. And if you order, pre-order them through somebody, you'll get them 25-30% off, something like that.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
Oh no, and they're really well made.
Yeah, I remember when I worked at GameStop, we had some of those in our statue cases, and they were always really nice and really solid too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those. But there's definitely that subgroup of guys that collect comics, and they collect the statues, the highly prized, like $1,000 beautiful figurines, extremely detailed statues. Like, there was a Witcher 3 statue that was in the group this week that
I saw
incredible.
that.
Looked incredible.
Yeah. Lewis McGregor put a pre-order in for one. I know he was super excited about it.
Oh yeah, I got to give props to Lewis because he's the one that did up the mask for me.
Oh really?
Yeah, I said I need a mask for tonight, And he said, "Okay, I'm on it." And so he printed it up and sent it to me. I mean, he created it and sent it to me, and I printed it out.
I love the mask, dude. It's awesome. You should do that for like Halloween.
So what are you reading, Luis?
As far as what I am reading, I read Seven to Eternity this week by Rick Remender and Jerome.
I heard that's awesome.
It's really good. It is really, really good. I don't know. A lot of people are harping and saying it's the best first issue Rick Remender has ever written. I'm not entirely sure it's there yet. I would probably say that I think Fear Agent still nothing tops Fear Agent for me, but it's really, really good. I will say that I'm not exactly sure 100% what is going on with it, but Jerome Peña's art is beautiful as always. Amazing stuff. And the thing is, Rick Remender, in the first few pages of it, is able to establish such a great world. He establishes the world, the rules, what's going on with the villains and things like that, and it's so, so great. And in fact, the first issue went out of print on the first day it was released. It's already gone into second printing. Yeah, it flew off the shelves. People were picking up variants like crazy at my shop. I went to the shop probably around 4 o'clock, and they were down to like their last 3 issues. That's including variants. They were gone.
Wow.
Which for an Image book, that's kind of unheard of. I mean, you've got your few books here and there like Sex Criminals and obviously Saga, where the minute that they drop, people were just picking them up. But that's really rare in this day and age to pick it up, especially with, I think the Image boom is kind of starting to go down a little bit. If you notice, Image is popular. It's great. They keep publishing stuff, but it's not Image 3 or 4 years ago where Image would drop a #1 and it would just go off the shelves like that.
Yeah.
I'm also rereading, and this one kind of has a personal stake for me. Kind of deals with the theme of this week and the overall topic, books that make you cry. Day Tripper. There is a reason why I am reading Day Tripper. For those of you that are not on the Facebook group, I just found out this week that I'm going to be a father. So I am super excited about that. I'm shocked. Don't know. I don't know. I honestly, I'm just at a loss for words when I heard the news. I don't think there's anything that can prepare you for you hearing that news.
No, there's not. As the father of a 25-year-old daughter, let me tell you something. Your life is out of control from now on. In a good way, though. You're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
But it's not your life anymore.
Oh, no. No, trust me, I know. Oh, man.
But congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. And for those of you that have never read Day Tripper, and fingers crossed, I'm hoping for a boy. I'm hoping for a boy. Please, got a boy. If you've never read Day Tripper, essentially what Day Tripper is that it follows this character named Braz. And Braz lives in Brazil, and it follows him throughout his entire life. And at the end of every issue, Braz dies. And the next issue kind of continues at a different point in his life, and then he dies, and then the next issue, up until you actually get to his actual death when he's an old man. It is beautiful. The art is amazing, and it's poignant. It's really an examination of life and all of the things that we go through life, the relationships we go through, and that just, it looks at life how it's really a journey. And you can lose track of it along the way, and you can lose sight of it, and you can just get obsessed with so many things that you can lose the beauty of life as it is. It's an amazing, amazing book. And the issue in here that really got me was an issue closer to the end where he finds out he's going to be a father. He finds out that his wife is pregnant. It's incredible and powerful and moving stuff.
Yeah, it was a great series. It's been a while since I read it, and I recently received it as a gift in hardcover, so I upgraded. And I've been wanting to revisit it because it definitely is one of those books that was really emotional to me. And as far as books that made us cry, if anyone missed the Luis saying that is our topic today, that was one of them that made me cry, like not just, the sad cry, but it was like those happy emotional cries,
Yeah, I remember reading it back when it came out in singles, and I haven't read it since, so I'm going to have to go back and reread it.
I think it's one of those books that it's in a way timeless because it literally is about life. It's just the overall thing of life, and you can relate to it on almost any level because we've all been kids, we've all been adults, we've all gone through a lot of the same things, even though we've come from different places. Who doesn't remember a time when they were a kid and they were outside playing with their friends and things like that?
Yeah.
Well, maybe kids today they don't because they're pretty much all locked up inside. But you know what I mean. What is sunlight? Why does it burn so much, mommy? Get your ass outside. Who remembers having to go outside and having to stay outside until the lights come on? Your parents would force you.
Absolutely. I was not welcome into the house until dinner was ready.
Same. After school, yeah. You get your homework done and you get your ass outside until the lights come on and dinner's ready.
That's right. Yeah, no question.
Oh, I didn't have that. I was a couch potato from a young age. Well, I'm just the odd man out on all this stuff, guys.
I'm sorry, Riley.
I got the Alex Ross, Doctor Strange. I'm a jerk to people when I buy toys.
Well, it turns out we're all jerks.
Outside. Yeah, at least we're all a little bit of a jerk. But I think I might have taken the cake because I didn't even gain anything from that.
You really didn't. Actually, now that we look back on it, you really didn't.
No, yeah. You're definitely the worst of the three of us. There's no question about that.
You got the satisfaction of making another nerd cry, I bet. You should have followed him, because I'm pretty sure if you did, he was probably in the parking lot in his car crying.
Just taking his car door, bam, 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 bam.
How would you have felt if that guy was actually going to give it to somebody else? Like it was a dying child, or like if it was a Christmas gift or something like that?
Toys for Tots. There's a Toys for Tots gift. Oh, it just got picked up by that guy with the glasses and beard.
I feel like I would have probably known. Like he probably would have said, like, "Oh, do you think Jimmy would have liked this toy?" Like, yeah, maybe he'll be able to play with it as he's in the hospital. And I wouldn't have done it then. But he was just sitting there like, "Oh, sweet Han Solo. That one's hard to find. I haven't seen that one in a store yet. Yoink."
This is great.
That's the best.
Oh my god. I mean, at least you didn't take food out of a crying child's mouth or something like that.
Yeah, not yet. I haven't done that yet.
Right. He's too young of a married person to do that. Well, do you have a book, Riley, that made you tear up?
Yeah, I've got a lot of books that made me cry.
That one about the guy that took the Star Wars figure from the other guy. Oh wait, that's not a story. That was real life.
We are gonna get so much mileage on. You're gonna get so much hate for this on the Facebook group. You know.
But yeah, I've had a lot of them because I'm really weak. Like I cry at the drop of a pin.
Me too.
Like, not just at sad stuff, but at happy stuff. Like kids being reunited with their parents. Or like when a kid gets a gift that they really love, that like the parent worked really hard to get, like anything that's like a happy emotion, I'm always like, oh my god, they're so happy, and like it makes me cry, and like I try to man up and like hold the tears back. So if anyone ever goes to a movie with me, regardless of what it is, there was always going to be at least one scene that's going to make me start to cry, and you'll hear me kind of like. Like breathe in and just kind of like stop and like hold it in, and I like will feign like wiping my nose or something, like a sniffle, so that I can wipe my cheek and no one sees the tear because I just cried at like something in the newest Marvel movie. But one of the worst representations of this to date would actually be the time that I cried during an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I thought there was no plot to Dragon Ball Z.
Shut up.
Was it the Vegeta episode? Was it?
No, it was the episode with Boo. Like after Fat Boo, like he starts becoming good because he's being friends with Mr. Satan, and he has the dog
Right now, Jess
And
is going, what
spoilers
the
if
hell
you
is
haven't
going
seen
on?
this episode from like however many years ago, but the dog gets shot by like some random guy, and I just like bawled. I was like, no, not the dog. It made him good. It made him good. That was one. But I guess as far as comics, the one that I think about the most, just to make it more on topic, is actually the X-Men Second Coming crossover. And to get into spoiler territory, because that is already like 6 years old or something. Nightcrawler dies in that one, and the scene where he dies wasn't really the part that got me, but it was the issue, the eulogy issue that Matt Fraction wrote, because all of Nightcrawler's best friends and like teammates are going up there and talking about how great of a person he was and all that, and I'm like, oh my god, like this really just hits me so hard. And then years later, whenever he comes back in the pages of Jason Aaron's amazing X-Men run, I cried again whenever Wolverine like is reunited with him. And I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. And then like it's really like topical for me now because my best friend died a couple years ago now.
Oh man.
And so like I feel what was felt in those stories. Like, and I have dreams almost every night where I'm reunited with him, and it's nothing like super crazy. It's just we're chilling, and I'm like, oh, hey, Kevin, what's up? And he's like, oh, not much. Have you been reading One Piece? Yeah, how'd you know? And it's just that in my dream, and that's the happiest thing I could ever have. And so I get that emotion of like Wolverine being reunited with his best friend because I want that, you know? So that I think is the one that when you told me the topic for today, that was the first book that popped into my head.
It's a good choice. I've never read it. Again, I'm not as versed in X-Men as you are, but I really want to dive into it.
I think that's probably not the best place to just shove yourself into, but because it is like a bunch of established continuity going into it, but there's it definitely, you could, if you wanted to, you could start there, because I read that without reading like some of the books that led into it several years ago, and it stood well for me on its own. So it's a decent story if you like those characters.
Is that a self-contained book?
Not really. It's definitely smack dab in the middle of Matt Fraction's run. But
okay.
Oh, so
I
it's
still
recent.
haven't read all of his run.
It's recent.
Yeah, it's pretty recent.
Okay.
It's like 6 years old, I think.
How is Fraction's X-Men?
I've read about half of it, and the quality is just all over the place. Like, some of the stories are good, like Second Coming. Some of it is meh, and then a little bit of it is bad. But the bad stuff, I'm going to blame on Greg Land, because I blame everything bad on
You and Greg Land, you're going to
The Zika virus started with Greg Land. As far as Riley's concerned, he's patient zero.
You know, Greg Land is going to be at Tampa Bay MegaCon, and I suspect if I go there, he's just going to look me dead in the eyes and say, fuck you.
Hey, tell your buddy, fuck off.
Tell that bearded nerd I have some words for him.
Oh my god! For those of you that don't know, Riley wants to box in a steel cage Greg Land. My money's on Riley.
Why do you trace porn?
I used to enjoy his art until Riley was the first one to bring that topic up, and now I can't even look at it. I was like, gosh, this guy's a really good artist, and then Riley brings up the tracing porn. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go take a shower now.
Like, and here's the thing, like, in the past, like, if you look at some of his artwork from like Birds of Prey, it's good, and he's not tracing. And then, I mean, not the best artwork, but it's better. And then you go forward into more of the recent stuff, and it just gets worse and worse over time. And he's using the same face for like every character, and he's tracing porn, and he's doing all this like really crappy, just cutting corners. And that's why he gets work, is because he works fast. Because he doesn't actually work, he just traces. But yeah, it's like, I'll admit though, he has retained a good sense of backgrounds.
Hmm.
Like at least I haven't been able to tell if he has, but he doesn't seem to be tracing backgrounds. So every time I read something of him, I just pay attention to the backgrounds and sometimes like the costume design and don't pay attention to the faces at all.
So it's kind of the opposite of Jay Lee, where Jay Lee apparently just doesn't see backgrounds at all.
Yeah. Jay Lee doesn't have any backgrounds. Everyone's floating. Like my AP art teacher told me they're a bug on a rug.
Yeah, I don't
I
see.
hate that saying, but
I don't see the appeal in Jay Lee. I do. I just don't see it.
I like him a lot, but I see where you're coming from.
Is Jay Lee the artist in that Inhumans book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid I like him too. Sorry.
I'm not the minority.
No,
It's fine. No, it's fine.
He did the artwork in the Century too, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
with
I
Paul
think
Jenkins.
You recently read that one, right?
Right. Yeah.
I heard that was
Yeah,
really
I am
good.
a fan of his. Oh, the Century. Yeah, that's out of print, but I don't think it's that hard to find. But what a wonderful story that is.
Hmm.
I have my tearjerker, and it's because nothing quite as poignant. Well, maybe as poignant as both your stories, because mine's over loss of childhood, and that is
Oh man.
whatever happened to the man of tomorrow. As
So
somebody
good.
that grew up, this is the deluxe edition. As somebody that grew up in the Silver Age, these characters actually meant a lot to me. I cannot stress enough how much, even though Jimmy Olsen got turned into a turtle and Elastalad and Insect Boy and the human dumbhead, that stuff meant stuff to me as an 8-year-old. And there's two places in this book that I teared up as recently as last year, and that is this scene here where Bizarro shows up and dies trying to warn Superman of something, and Superman can't figure out what it is. But I loved, Bizarro, and he's so innocent and so trusting, and he and for him to just die like that, it just really got me. And the second part, of course, which would get anybody, is when Crypto dies.
Oh yeah, that right there. I read that and oof.
I mean, I really loved Crypto as a kid, and to see that he was killed, trying to save his master. I teared up, and I realized that I was mourning the loss of my childhood. This was the end of Lana Lang being Insect Queen, and it was the end of Mixus Pitlick being a little imp, and I'm not going to argue that it's a bad story, because it's a fabulous story and one of the greatest things I've ever read. But it was the end of my childhood, really, because it was the end of the Silver Age. They specifically wanted it to be the end of the Silver Age of Superman comics, and brilliantly written. But it was the loss of my childhood, and I shed every time I read this book, I shed tears. So that's my sob story.
That's powerful stuff. Yeah, I read it once, probably a few years ago, and I haven't read it again, mainly because it's an amazing story, a fantastic story. But for the reason that you listed, that Crypto bit at the end, it tore me up the first time I read it, and I just could not read it again after, man. I don't know what it is about it. It's one of those where I read it once and I choked up so much. I was like, yeah, I'm good. That's it.
That's pretty amazing too, when you think about it, that these are fictional characters that, what an emotional attachment we have to them. I think that shows like the quality of creation and the quality of the writing to draw us in there and actually care that this would happen, even though, obviously it didn't happen. But I mean, I guess that's the power of all stories that make you cry. They draw you in, and that's the beauty of that book.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've got one more. I have, of course, everybody knows which one I'm going to talk about. Absolute All-Star Superman. And everybody knows the issue
Yep.
I'm going to bring up. Every single person. The one, there's issue 8 where the girl is on the building and she's about to jump off, and Superman says, "You're stronger than you know." You want to talk about just breaking somebody down and getting, not only breaking somebody down, but in like a few short panels, Grant Morrison nails every single thing about Superman that is great about Superman in those few panels. And coming from somebody who has struggled with depression issues my whole life and with, suicidal things and things going on in my background, that to me hit me more home than absolutely almost anything else that I have ever read reading comics.
It's probably one of your most famous reviews, I think. I remember that when it, I don't think you were a member yet of the Omnibus group, and when you put out your video for that, I mean, everybody was talking about it, about that review you did on that book. So I knew that was, you were going to bring it up somewhere in here. That's why I didn't bring it up, because I knew you wanted to. No, but it was, I think that has to be one of your most popular videos, because everybody was talking about it and what impact it had on them, and it led to a whole huge weeks-long discussion about depression and stuff. I can't remember when did you, do you remember when you wrote that? Was it late last year?
No, I think it was probably 2 years ago. I wasn't part of the group back then, and I didn't even know what that video stretched that far into the group and that had that far-reaching effect. I just put up the video up there, me being honest, of like, hey, maybe if I put up the video, it'll help somebody else out,
It had a big impact. I remember that. I remember Riley talking about it, and a lot of people talked a lot about the issues that story brought up.
Yeah, I do specifically remember someone posting it on the group, and I know it was pretty soon, or not too long after that you actually joined our group, and then everyone was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And like, it was a big deal, because I think it's kind of the first time that you really went public, because no one really knew your name before that, so it was really cool.
Yeah, you were just hardcover review guy.
And it was also cool because it was, for a lot of people, it seemed like it was the melding of like two powers.
Oh man, but, you don't know how many emails, how many comments I've got. When are you going to do a video with Riley? When are you going to do a live? You got to do something with Riley. You got to do something with Riley. And I'm like, all right, well, I hit you up, and here we are.
Yeah, and it's been going great, man. This is super fun every week.
It has been. It's been really great.
I actually had my coworkers today. Everyone was going out to a bar after work, and they were like, "Hey, man, you want to go get some drinks? We're going for just a couple drinks." And I was like, "I got to go home and do a live stream. Can't go."
Did they think that was some kind of drink?
They were like confused, like, "You're doing
gonna do what?"
And they asked me, and like my coworkers know, like I read comics and stuff, but they didn't know that I do this kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, and I just kind of laid it out, and I told my manager, and he was like, "Oh, you really are Leonard."
Oh, come on. Come on.
I get that way too much.
Oh, yeah, I bet you do.
What a cute
but yeah, it was, I've been really enjoying coming in here and doing this every week. So I'm glad you reached out, and I'm glad people suggested it. But on that topic of the depression video, yeah, I had one. I didn't talk about any specific comic, but I had posted one on my group before, or on my channel a while back, and it was the same idea. I just wanted to say something to if I could help anyone through anything, then I would have been happy. And it was just, I found out that I had depression because I never thought about it as a thing, and I went and got on some antidepressants, and it really helped me. And I'm off of them now because it helped me when I was really stressed out and with my anger issues and with depression. I just couldn't get out of bed. But now I've kind of gotten past that, and I have I don't rely on it, so I was really happy about that. But yeah, I made that video with that same intent. Just hopefully someone gets something out of it, and someone is helped by it.
Yeah, and even today with the All-Star Superman video, I get people. It's not as often as it was, like people commenting like, "Holy shit, thank you so much for this video." Thank you for like being open about this and being honest, and thank you for turning me on to this book. I was like, wow, I can't believe it had that much of an effect on somebody.
Yeah, it had a big impact.
Anything else, guys, before we get into the questions?
No, I think we've been emotional enough.
There's a question and answer period now?
Yeah, where we just open it up to the fans and they shoot us questions and things like that. So if you guys want to start shooting us questions in the live chat, go ahead.
Well, I know there's one. My biggest fan out there is Idle Ninja. If he's typing in, Idle Ninja is a good friend of mine on the Omnibus page. See if he has any question. Probably, I'm sure it's a snarky one, like how come I look so old or something.
Who is Idle Ninja?
Michael Watson.
Oh, okay. I know that Ryan. Oh, there he is. Ryan is Stanley or Stan L3H.
Ryan. Who?
Sace.
Oh, he's on. Oh, my buddy, my bastard buddy. Ryan, you old bastard, ye.
Idle Ninja says hi, by the way.
Peace out.
Jess, they're asking you, what issues do you have on the wall?
Oh, I can show you. These are the bombshell issues. Let's see. I want to make sure I get them. This is what the bombshell statues come from. Were these bombshell issues that DC put out several years ago, maybe 2000. Well, let's see, it was issue 32 of everything that started out. So that was probably 3 years after New 52. I don't know, 2013, 2014. And so these are all, I just matched the statue with the comic cover. And that's what's going on right here.
By the way, those frames look awesome, dude.
Yeah, I just Googled comic frames, and that's what showed up.
Wow.
Are you getting a good enough look, do you think?
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. And then here's Gwen and Black Cat and Mary Jane.
And you got a Spider-Gwen statue recently, too, right?
Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about that out loud.
Is
that was
outside of probation?
That was acquired during the probation period that I am currently under. And Spider-Gwen, she was much smaller. She's out in the other room. She's much smaller than these bombshells or the sideshows, but she was acquired illegitimately and cannot be displayed for another couple of weeks, probably. And even then, I'm going to hide her. It'll bring up too many questions, like when did you get it? Things like that. When you're on probation, life is difficult.
Was this from the pie fund?
The probation pie that I ate? Yes. Do you want me to tell that story really quick?
Yeah, for anyone who's not familiar with that story.
Okay.
I'm curious.
Have you not heard this, Luis?
I have not.
Okay. This was back in August. Or maybe even, yeah, it was back in no, I'm sorry, it was in July. And I had, I made coconut cream pie. And so it was hanging around the house. On a Saturday, 2 huge IST orders show up at my house. These are like 25-pounders each.
Oh, man.
So I slip them in the house. I zip them open, and I make 2 big stacks, just admiring them. Oh, my God. Look at how thick and wonderful they are and all the great stories and just marveling at them. And it's like 9 in the morning, and I'm having a piece of this pie. And the piece of pie makes me sleepy. It's too early to have pie. So I said, oh, it's Saturday. I'm just going to go take a nap. So I went up. I took like a 3-hour nap. I come downstairs, and there's my wife standing with her arms folded, looking at my books.
Oh, shit.
This seems to be a rather large pile of books you've accumulated here. Is this past your monthly budget? And I'm like, I just woke up. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What? What books? Oh, those. So after a rather heated discussion of my stack of books that was this big, I got put on probation for the rest of July, all of August, and all of September.
Oh, shit.
I had to get special permission to get Doctor Strange. Yeah, I'm on probation. Yeah, I'm not. That goes for pops, statues, legends, figures, Marvel Legends, everything. There's no mail coming in my house. And I got to tell you, it is lonely when there's no mail coming in every day. Any day. I haven't had any mail except bills for the past 3 months. And that sucks. So I can't wait for the end of September.
I'm sorry, man. I think we've all got horror stories where we get that email saying your package should be delivered today, and you just check the date and you're like, fuck, my wife is home.
I haven't gotten in trouble, and I think the time I would have gotten in trouble is if I hadn't asked if I could make one of my future things a Christmas.
Yeah, that was good maneuvering on your part.
The last time I really got in trouble was before, oh man, it was back in my first apartment, back like when I first started the channel and stuff, and I was ordering books, but we had no money.
Yeah.
And I had my own secret little pie fund, I guess. And it was like I had sold a ton of stuff on eBay and through my Tumblr page, because I used to do that. And then I had sold a bunch of stuff at Half Price Books, and I had a few $100 just sitting there. And I was using it just a little bit at a time to buy things as they were coming out. And then I would do the regular like upgrading, like throwing out stuff to upgrade to a new version of that. And that was the only way I was affording anything. And Megan was like, Riley, what the fuck? Like, you don't have enough money coming in for you to be buying stuff. And I was like, but it's coming. It's not coming out of our bank account. It's coming out of my PayPal. And she's like, if you have money in your PayPal, then that's money we can use for our personal expenses, like our bills, our rent, our groceries. And I was like, but comic.
But it's in my PayPal.
I was like, it's not. It's mine. I worked for
PayPal's over there. Our bank account's over there.
And I had a
Top ramen's only $1. Hey,
I had a little bank, and the little bank that I had like another $100-something in cash just sitting in there. And I pulled it out one day because I was giving her, like, she's like, oh, well, this came out of our bank. And I was like, oh, here you go. And I gave her a 20 or something. And she's like, what the fuck, Riley? And she just took all the money, and she's like, no, that's going into the bank. And I was like,
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, man.
I've been there. I've definitely been there.
No, I've got my one story. Usually she's really good about it because she pulls stuff from my shelf and she likes to read comics as well. Hence the reason why I'm marrying her and we're having a child together soon.
Nice.
But there was one day where I had like 4 or 5 boxes show up on the front door of our apartment, and all I hear, because I was taking a shower, is, "Oh my God!" I went, "Oh." And I walked out of there trying to explain this labyrinthian plot of how I was able to afford. But I'm like, I sold some things and I got some things. She's like, I don't care. And now I'm on probation.
We could have bought more groceries.
Food is so overrated.
Yeah, top ramen, man.
Can't read food.
Yeah, come on.
And if you get the electricity cut off, you can always burn off some Rob Liefeld comics, right?
Yeah. Greg Land comics.
I'm going to send Greg Land a personal invite to be on this channel for a live stream.
Oh, man. That would just be awful. Let's take another question. I noticed that Harold really wants to know if we're excited for the Dark Tower TV show. I've never read any Dark Tower. I was wondering if you guys have.
Read the first book, and I thought it was okay.
The book or the comic?
Book.
Okay.
I read all the books. I didn't like one of them. Song of Susanna, I did not like. I liked all the other books. I'm sort of gonna wait to see because it's all in my head. I've created it all in my head, and I know how things look in my head. So I'm gonna wait to see what the reviews are like because I mean it could turn out to be as great as Lord of the Rings. You know, they never made a movie of those books, and all of a sudden it turned out to be almost better than the books. So, but I read all the Dark Tower books.
Yeah, I'm interested to see because Matthew McConaughey is a real good actor, and I want to see how he does as the Man in Black. And I'm curious.
Who's the gunslinger going to be?
Idris Elba.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they've cast.
Okay, never mind. I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Idris Elba is a great actor.
Yeah. You've convinced me. Just with those two actors, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a great pedigree right there.
Yeah.
Have you, Jess? Have you read any of the Dark Tower comics?
I haven't. I do have. I'm looking at two of them right now, the two Omnibi, but I have not read them. Do they have Jay Lee art also?
Yes.
And it's Jay Lee, I believe, on part of it, and then Richard Isanove, however you pronounce it, also did work on there, if I recall correctly. And I really have wanted to read those for a while, and they're still in print. So knock on wood, I just haven't had the ability to afford with all the other books that I afford, I guess.
Yeah, I just haven't gotten to them yet because since I read the regular books, but I'm looking forward to reading them.
Same. I've read maybe the first few issues of, but I was a kid back then when the Dark Tower series started coming out in comics, and I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it feels more like it fills in holes of the book, and it's kind of in some ways a prequel, and it fleshes out a lot of different things. So it's interesting. If you've read the books, I think you'll get a lot more out of the comic than if you haven't.
Okay. So it'd probably be recommended for someone, i.e. for me, to maybe read the books and the comics.
I would say so, yes.
Okay. Introduction.
Is Morrison's Doom Patrol easy to follow or too crazy?
That sounds like a Riley question.
Go for it, Riley.
Have you guys each read that book?
I have not.
I have.
Okay. So Morrison's Doom Patrol is one of the earlier things that he wrote for mainstream comics. I think it was like the second big thing he did.
After Animal Man?
First Animal Man.
Yeah.
And it too is a mainstream DC property, i.e. the Doom Patrol, which is in a Vertigo book. So, I mean, it later was labeled as Vertigo, but he got more free reign with it. So he could go and do those crazy plots and stuff. Now, I think I mentioned in the past, like in our last video or so, that with Morrison, if you start with his older stuff, you get used to his crazy. Like you get used to his really like intense cerebral storytelling, and going forward, you know, like more what to expect and how to take in those stories. So Doom Patrol, being that it's one of the earlier ones, is a little easier to read, but I would also recommend having kind of an appreciation for pop art, like the Dada movement, as a lot of what Morrison is doing and referencing in this book deals with pop art, because the villains, the main villains, or one of the main villains, is the Brotherhood of Dada, and it represents very much like not just that artistic style, but the style of thinking that was behind the Dadaist movement. And if you look at it in that light, then it's really a lot more interesting, I think. The villains are really, I think, one of the big things that makes that book, but Morrison also does a lot of cool things with the heroes. So, you know, have to mention that. And then there's also the Flex Mentallo miniseries, which is kind of connected to it. And that one is just incredible on another level, because every issue is this really intimate exploration of like the golden, silver, bronze, and modern age of comics, and seeing this character like kind of be thrown through those ages. So is it hard to follow? Maybe. I would say you might want to do a little bit of research into the things that I said before going into it, and you'll get more out of it. But it's, if you want to just read it and be like, oh, it's just, you know, the world's strangest superheroes. Sorry, X-Men. The world's strangest superheroes. Then you can look at it as such, and I think it works, because it is really freaking strange.
Yeah, but it's not impossible like the Invisibles is.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
The
Oh.
Invisibles really need to sit and like annotations will help.
Yeah, exactly.
Read-throughs will help. You
Certain
cannot
chemicals.
read that book like read
Chemicals.
the Invisibles.
Yeah.
I read Invisibles. I read most of Invisibles when I was in high school, and let's say I was on certain questionable plants while I was reading it, and
Maybe you
man,
understood it better than I did.
it helped. I'll say this: it helped. It helped a lot. I don't remember much of it.
It's interesting because that's like, because this Invisibles has a lot of reference to that kind of stuff in it, and being on certain things, certain drugs, so to say.
Yeah.
And I, for one, I've never, you know, partaken in anything illegal or illicit.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that while Morrison was writing that book, he was tripping on acid and he was doing LSD because he wanted to be sure that he produced that experience as accurately as he possibly could on the page for someone who is not on those drugs. And I guess if you were on the drugs while you were also reading it, then it's just a whole nother level of holy shit.
Yeah, it's out there. It is, oh, man. And you there's actually a book that is it's kind of like a reference guide where you're supposed to read it with the Invisibles because it breaks down everything for you. And I haven't read that either. And I want to go back and read Invisibles again, and I want to read the book, the like reference guide book along with it.
Yeah, that could really help a lot of people out. But I really like the Invisibles and the whole idea behind that book, and particularly I really like the character of what was it? Robin, I think was the transgender character's name. If I'm remembering correctly.
I'm trying to remember. It's been so long.
Really, she was a really great character, and I loved her origin issue about like the kind of her background and where she came from, her heritage. Was just a really powerful issue.
Everybody's asking us if we saw Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I didn't. I haven't caught it yet.
I haven't caught it yet either.
Same. Sorry, guys. That's a no from us.
Doesn't anybody have any questions about 60s Silver Age Rainbow Batman for me?
The Batman of Zur-En-Arr?
Zur-En-Arr, yeah.
Oh, my God. Kids out there, if you want a good time, Google the Batman of Zur-En-Arr. Have fun with that.
There was a little while ago, I had asked all of our admins in the Facebook group about their top 5 omnibuses, like fantasy omnibuses from DC and Marvel. And I'm planning on putting that all together into a big article, just kind of a fun little thing, like what we wish was published. And I kind of regrettably, my computer deleted the file. I didn't save it.
I'll never remember those.
Oh.
I need to gather the information. But I remember Jess's picks for specifically Jess, his top picks. 2 of them were a Jimmy Olsen Silver Age omnibus and a Sugar and Spike omnibus.
Yeah. I want collected Sugar and Spike, God damn it. I love those toddlers.
Jess,
I'm completely unfamiliar with them.
Jess, there's a question for you. Did you cry when Kara died in Crisis?
I did not, and I'll tell you why. It's a weird reason. Infinite Crisis happened when I lost both my own parents.
Oh, wow.
Back in the mid '80s. I was very young, in my 20s. Lost both my parents, and I went into like about a 6-month numb phase where nothing bothered me at all. I was like, I didn't react to anything, and I just could not accept the fact that Kara actually died. I didn't accept the fact that Barry Allen died. I just said, this is bullshit. I'm not reading these. I don't care. I'm very unhappy in life right now, and this pisses me off. So I need to reread that. I have to reread that with a clear head, and because I haven't read it in 25 years, and I'm sure that as much as I was one of the first guys to get that $17 Supergirl omnibus from Amazon that was so popular on the page, there you go.
Guilty.
Because I love Kara, and for me to not react to that, that's the reason why I didn't, because I was just emotionally numb for a period of 6 months, which is probably more than you wanted to know, but there's the reason.
Wow. Oh, wow, man. Yeah, I think when I try to, and this is just my experience, when I try to review something, I try to kind of push any external forces or anything like that and try to just take it for what it is. But sometimes you just can't help it. You know, Sometimes the outside world just influences what you read a lot. Right.
It should have affected me more, but it didn't.
Yeah. I mean, that was the same way that was part of the reason why I started reading Day Tripper. When I just found out I was going to be a dad, I was like, oh, time to break out the old Day Tripper book. Time to get into some feels. So
I'll have to keep that in mind for whenever that happens, because it'll happen. Just my wife and Luis were having a little conversation before, and she mentioned that, like, nope, not for it right now.
Think of all the omnibuses you could buy, Riley, instead of that.
I know, right?
Yeah, you better get them right now.
I'm too selfish.
Oh, man. I know. I'm going to have to bolt down my bookcase. I'm going to have to, like, break out the power tools soon.
Get nice cases with doors on them that you can lock.
Oh, man. Alan Moore's From Hell. What are our thoughts?
I haven't read it before. I'm going to be honest.
Guilty. Same.
Oh, okay. I read it. I thought it was brilliant. And the reason that I think it's so readable is that he annotates everything at the back of the book in every issue. I read it in comic form, and then I read it in paperback, and now I have it in softcover, the sort of softcover case books that came out. But he annotates he solves this crime, basically, to me. He makes an excellent case for who Jack the Ripper really was, and he leaves no stone unturned as to where things happened, when they happened, why they happened, and it's all annotated and noted in the back of the book, and you just follow it along. If you have a question, you just flip to the back of the book, and that's where his source came from, and he put this whole thing together. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I have no idea what the movie's like, but that book was brilliant.
Oh, wow. That sounds like something I need to pick up. Wow. I didn't know that.
It's got that Eddie Campbell art, and the Eddie Campbell art, you sort of have to get used to it. It's scratchy, but it's very effective getting the message across. It's very readable because it's got those notes.
Did you get the hardcover that came out this week?
I am on probation right now. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
I had to lobby for Doctor Strange, so.
Oh, man. But it was worth it. The Strange was worth it.
Yeah. You could say that.
Crazy. Yeah, there was what was the new edition that came out? I'm looking for it on IST right now, but I do remember it being mentioned.
Yeah, I think it came out in a hardcover edition.
And it came out of, to me at least, it came out of nowhere. I was just looking down cheap graphic novels, like the coming soon list, and I was like, there's a new edition. Oh, shit, that looks really good.
Yeah, it's a nice looking cover. I'm looking at it. They have it on in stock for 30% off at $27.99. If anyone like me is now super interested in reading it, because of Jess's little description there. But let's see about some new questions to take. I saw someone mentioned or asked, how often are we influenced by people in the Facebook group when we're picking up new books? And they used Matthew's recommendations of Omega Men as an example. Do y'all have any other books that you were recommended to by people in the group?
Actually, Matthew's Omega Men. He kept pimping the hell out of that for months and months. And you guys got to read this. And I was like, I don't know. I picked it up, and that received my first ever perfect award on my channel. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's see. I've got a whole stack here. Here's, I think this is a Matthew special, Sheriff of Babylon.
Uh-huh.
So, and then Mel and Anita Schumann talked me into Airboy, which was great.
Oh,
I have it.
Fun comic.
I have it, and I haven't read it yet.
Oh, God, it is so good.
I've heard it's like really scathing against James Robinson. Like, he really takes it to himself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no question. And then I got totally photobaited into this graphic ink of Darwin Cook. Maybe I photobaited myself, but I can't remember. But people talked about it so much, I said, I better get this. So I get suckered into things all the time on the page.
Yeah, as a Darwin Cook fanboy, I absolutely want it. I mean, anything. Cook is one of those guys that almost anything he put out was amazing.
Yeah, Michael Watson, if he's still watching, he's famous for spending my money on X-Men books. He'll hit me up with a PM. Hey, have you read blah blah blah? And I said, oh no, I haven't. He goes, oh my God, it's so good. And I go, okay, I'll be right back. Get it, and I'll come back. Oh my God, you're so right. Rogue was so great. I never even heard of it before. He's cost me a fortune, that guy. So yeah, I'm a sucker for people's recommendations all the time.
I'm the same way too. I fall into that trap so well. Do you think Omega Men will get the hardcover format soon? I think so.
I think that it will, because we've already seen it sell out, I believe, on Amazon and in stock trades.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll go as far as to say I think it'll get an absolute.
Whoa.
That was fun.
Interesting.
I think it can get an absolute.
Are we betting men today? Are we going to take bets on this?
If you want, if I'm ever in Texas. Okay, all right. If you want, I'm ever in Texas, I'll buy you some barbecue.
Okay. All right. If it gets a deluxe instead of the absolute, I'll treat you.
All right, sounds good. So you think it's going to get a deluxe?
We'll both treat Jess no matter what.
Yeah. I have no concept of whether something's getting a hardcover or an absolute or not. You guys are way ahead of the curve of me on that.
Did you see Tokyo Ghost is getting a hardcover release?
I did see that. I'm excited about that.
I like the cover. Really, really great stuff by Sean Murphy. Even though I think Tokyo Ghost is kind of Remender's weakest stuff that he's writing right now, it's still a really good series.
I liked Tokyo Ghost. The first half of it was good, but then the second half was where it just took off and got fantastic to me.
Oh.
And it had a little bit of a weakish ending, like the last issue or the penultimate issue. I think could have been better, where like the climax was. But
is it done? Did they finish? Did it finish,
or did it? I forget if the last issue has come out yet. I know that the penultimate issue came out, and I was a tiny bit underwhelmed by it. Damn, did it finish? Now I don't even remember what I've read anymore. But the point is, I've enjoyed it overall. I think I enjoy that one more than Low, but less than Deadly Class and Black Science.
Yeah. Deadly Class is my favorite thing that he's writing right now.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat.
Let me see. Murphy. Remender special size. Yeah, it's getting the Remender special size treatment, guys.
It better. It'd suck if all of a sudden, like, we get one standard size hardcover next to all library size.
Do any of us collect single issues? If so, what?
I really don't.
Oh, you don't?
I read singles via digital issues and whatnot. I don't buy them. Like, I have other people that will lend me copies. Like, I have some friends who basically pull together digital copies onto a Comixology account, and every once in a while I can read via there. But I don't actually buy any singles anymore.
I make the rare exception. This week's Seventh to Eternity was that rare exception. I was like, this looks cool. I like the cover. It would look nice if I framed it up on a wall.
Yeah, I went cold turkey on single issues last year and went hardcore into collected editions. It's just unbelievable how expensive single issues are. I mean, if I'm paying $4.99 for a single issue and I can get the collected edition off of IST for $6.99, then I can't make the case for single issues anymore, unless it's a Harley Quinn variant. Then I'm a sucker for those. I love me some Harley Quinn.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, guys. So I'm gonna say about 5 more minutes. Are you good with that?
Sounds good to me.
Absolutely.
Right. So get your questions in. Last few minutes for this.
I like this question for if we think that there's going to be a third Amazing Spider-Man omnibus in time for Homecoming's release, because I think that it's pretty much a definite.
I'm gonna say no.
Really?
I'm gonna say no.
Wait, well, when is Homecoming released? Is it next year or is it 2018?
May of next year, I think.
Okay, so we're getting pretty close.
What's the last solicitation that they've dropped on us? Up to when?
The last solicits have gone through until about March and April.
Ooh. Do you want barbecue bet?
You're going to double up on your barbecue?
Yeah, I might have to. I'm going to place a barbecue bet on that one. Or if I ever see you in Florida, you can get me a Cuban sandwich.
Hey, definitely, man.
Because I love Cubans. But I think that there's a pretty good chance, if not at the time of the movie coming out, at least within the month's window between the movie and like its Blu-ray release, because I think that there's a reason why they would specifically want to reprint the first and second of those omnibus again.
Good point. Good point. Jess, what is your favorite pulp hero?
My favorite pulp hero?
Yeah.
How old do you think I am?
That's what people wanted to know.
Pulp hero. Well, I did grow up reading Doc Savage and the Shadow, so I will say Doc Savage.
Good choice. Do you know they're making a movie of it, right? With Shane Black?
Of Doc Savage?
Yeah, Shane Black is in it. He's directing it.
Okay, cool. I loved Doc Savage growing up.
Yeah, The Rock is going to star.
I will watch that.
Yeah, The Rock is supposedly going to be Doc Savage with, I think Shane Black is writing the script and he's directing it. For those of you that don't know, Shane Black did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, he's directing the new Predator movie. What else has he done? He wrote the original Lethal Weapon script. He's been pretty big in Hollywood.
He did Iron Man 3.
Yes, he did Iron Man 3. That's right.
I know a lot of people didn't like that one, but I did. I was a fan.
I enjoyed it.
Favorite pulp hero. Who the fuck wrote that?
Some bastard.
Jesus Christ. I think I was brought up reading Yellow Kid and
Dick Tracy comics.
Little Nemo and stuff. God. Whoever asked that needs to fess up tomorrow on the page.
It was Ice.
Was it?
Yeah, he just said.
Man, they were really laying into Jess this video. Jess, favorite apostle to go out to drinking with?
Favorite apostle?
To go out drinking with. It's horrible, guys.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's the last time I find books for the group. I can promise you that. I'm not called Omni Dog because I got gray hair. It's because I find books for you scumbags.
Oh, man. All right, I think we can.
Come on, bring it on, buddy. I can take it. What apostle. I don't drink anymore, so I don't go drinking with the apostles.
Oh, man. I think we can probably end it there before this keeps getting out of hand. All right, guys. Jess, where can they find you, man?
On the Omnibus collector community and swap. What's the name of it again, Riley?
Omnibus Collectors, Comic Swap, and Community.
Yes, I'm part of the community there. I that's the only place I go during the day besides my day job. It's either my day job or I am on Facebook on that page.
And Jess is, I may have made the page, but Jess is the heart of the page. So,
really
oh, thank you very much. That's very sweet of you to say. You've given me a huge purpose in life, Riley. This page is one of the most fun things I've ever had anything to do with.
That's really great to hear. I'm so happy about that.
That's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, he really is. He's a huge part of the community. You'll see him interacting with a lot of people. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anybody say anything bad about Jess at all in the community.
Except that one guy the other day. Power hungry. And then I think Matthew kicked him out like 2 seconds later.
Really?
Yeah, Matthew said his finger was hovering over the button, ready to eject him.
And then Lewis made the little like achievement unlocked. You've been banned.
The what?
He made not you, but Lewis McGregor made a little picture of the guy, and it said "Achievement unlocked. You've been banned."
Yes, he was very rude to me. Very rude.
He was rude to everyone.
Yes, he was rude to everyone.
I was about to hop in and say something, but I was working, and I was like, I can't sit here and write like a page-long message about how you're a butthole, but.
And I think that may have been his first post too. I think he just jumped in and started ripping.
I think Daniel McBride, not to be confused with actor Danny McBride, but just about as cool as him. He said that he had had an issue with him in another thing that he had posted, but I'm pretty sure he only commented in the page a couple of times, and in those couple of times, apparently he started some shit, and people were not very favorable towards him.
I mean, you get the occasional guy that's like that. You know that.
Oh, sure. For the most part, that community is wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
But we know in the admin chat when we're about to have to take care of something.
And ban. All right, what about you, Riley? Where can they find you, bud?
You can find me too on the page, and my YouTube channel is, I guess my channel is just Riley Moe, but you can just search me by the Omnibus Collector, and then my website, theomnibuscollector.com. And I wanted to plug something really quick that Jess and I are doing that's starting tomorrow. For the group, we're doing a readathon for the series Concrete by Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jess just spoke leagues about it, and I'd never read it before.
Oh, God, I love Concrete.
So we are actually starting a group-wide readathon for anyone who wants to join in. And starting tomorrow, we're reading 1 volume each week out of the 7 books. So if anyone else wants to join in, it's an event on the page. You can join in if you already have the book. They're available for pretty cheap. It's like $7 a pop on in-stock trades. So everyone else is welcome to join in if you want.
Huh. Awesome. I'm going to have to check that out. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, Concrete is the shit, man. Concrete's awesome.
As far as for me, you can check me out right here. You're obviously on my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Hardcover Review. You can follow me on Facebook, Hardcover Reviews. I am also in the Omnibus group, and I'm going to plug this because I have a kid along the way, and expenses are going to be crazy. So if you want to help support me, Patreon is there. I know I've gotten a lot of hate for it, but Patreon is there, and I could use a couple of bucks. We've almost hit the $100 mark. If we hit the $100 mark, every single person that has pledged to Patreon, even at the $1 level, will be entered in a raffle to receive a hardcover or trade paperback of my choice, and I promise it will be good stuff. So check that out at patreon.com/hardcoverreviews. Yeah, and thanks for checking this out, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Bye.